Welcome to I Am Well podcast. I am your host, Gemma, a nutritionist and mindset coach passionate about all things health and wellness. I'm going to take you on a journey to discovering what health means for you and how to create a life you love living. I'm on a mission to uplift those who feel overwhelmed with what it means to be healthy, reminding you, my listeners, that nutrition is only one aspect of health, and empower you to live your best life on your terms. Let's get to it. Hello and welcome back to I Am Well podcast. Let's just start off with how my world has been. If you've been following me for a while, you would have known that I had the Recalibrate Wellness Retreat, and it was amazing. This retreat, it's only the second one that I have done with my beautiful friend Gabby. If you listened to our last podcast, you would have heard all about what she specializes in. She's got so much knowledge around how to help heal this when you've got too much stress going on, how to help navigate the stress response and lower cortisol, which I say time and time again, like that is such a cause to a lot of women's health issues out there. The fact that we're not prioritizing rest as women. We just, especially as we get older, we just keep going and going. So I love that she has all of these tools to help easily bring down those stress levels. Plus, she has so much knowledge in low toxing your environment, which I love getting stuck into low toxing your environment because that also has a play on why you might not be seeing your results. But anyway, we won't go into that today. Yes, that was our second retreat that we had done together, and it was incredible. We have decided this is something that definitely we want to do more often. So stay tuned because there is so much more exciting things to come between Gabby and I, because we just feel like then we can give this huge holistic approach. You know, I always believe that, yes, I'm a nutritionist, but I'm also really dedicated to mindset work too, because I believe that so much of it comes from mindset too, the reason why you're not achieving your goals. And it also comes down to everything else in between, like emotional health, spiritual health. It's all intertwined, and I don't believe that like one triumphs the other. So I'm really excited to see what we have in store for everyone for the future. So stay tuned for that. But yes, the retreat was so lovely. It was a small, tight-knit group, which I loved because it was a perfect fit because we did it in my backyard at my house. It was the perfect size. And everyone was so lovely. Like, I think, and I know a few of the girls would have been nervous coming to a retreat on their own. And I think that should be something celebrated in itself, especially if you're a person that's very isolated and you struggle to go out and socialize and meet other people. Just knowing that women are doing this, like there are events out there and women are going to it on their own, and you can do that too. There is nowhere that says you can't do that, but you know what holds us back? It's that tiny voice inside our head that's just like, this is too scary, this is too daunting, this is too unfamiliar to me, especially the fear of the unknown. Like, you know, all the women there had never seen my house before. They'd never seen the backyard, like unless they watched on my stories, but they'd never physically been there. They'd never met each other. So I'm just saying, like, the fact that they still put themselves out there and came to an event like this, it just proves that anyone can do it. You know what I mean? And I say this a lot too, and I talked about this a lot at the retreat, is that creating those communities and creating those environments where we are getting a bunch of women together is bringing on those oxytocin hormones. So oxytocin is that love hormone, and that is literally the top of the hierarchy of all the other hormones. If you can keep on bringing in oxytocin in your life, it will balance the rest of your hormones. And this makes sense, doesn't it? Because, I mean, there has been so many times where history has shown that people have just worked on mindset, where people have just, especially if you have ever followed Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, he has proven time and time again how what he does with his clients is he gets them to go into this meditative state and practice meditation, and doing this over and over again then manipulates everything else, and people have been able to heal their illnesses and diseases. Like one woman had Hashimoto's and she was just in meditation, doing this meditation consistently. She no longer has it. You know, another woman had MS and she continually did this and she no longer has MS. Like, it is possible what we can do when we start putting ourselves in an environment and producing these loving hormones. It just makes sense. And the fact with oxytocin is you only get it for about 15 minutes. So you have to keep trying to find things to consistently put yourself in this state of, you know, the complete hierarchy of the hormone, you know, this complete state of love. And that can, anything small can do that. You don't always have to create these groups of women. You can literally pet your dog, pet your cat. You could literally, you know, hug someone or just give yourself a hug. Like, did you know just rubbing up and down in your arms like this, that is also creating oxytocin. There are many things that you can do, and I just love creating these spaces and holding these spaces for women so that we can help empower each other and show that there's a better way. And I love that we're all working together and we're creating this community, and I want this community to grow bigger and bigger. And that is literally my goal and my mission, because I grew up a lot in like the dance world. And when I was in there, like I can't say for it now because I haven't been in the dance world for like, I don't know, over 10 years or something. But when I was in that world, it felt very cutthroat. And it felt very every woman for themselves. And I just believe like that doesn't have to be so. Like, women are actually stronger when we create connection, when we build each other up. That is when we're at our most powerful. And dividing us isn't going to work as well. And I think society has tried to divide us because they somewhat have a deeper subconscious of knowing that. I'm not 100% sure on that. That's not my generalized, that's not my scope of practice there, but I do believe that women are more powerful together. So anyway, I went off on a bit of a tangent, but the weekend was beautiful and I absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to do more of these in the future. So stay tuned, whether you live in Queensland or whether you don't. We are looking at hosting online and in-person events. So I have been implementing a lot of 24-hour gut reset fasts into my routines for the last 3 to 4 months, I believe. And I just want to say they are an amazing tool to lean into. So today I just really want to go into why I love a 24-hour gut reset fast and what it entails, so that if you're a person who is suffering from any gut issues and you know it's really off balanced, any bowel motion issues, anything to do with the gut, really. It can even be, I was a skin therapist. I could literally see when someone was having gut issues through their skin. So the gut definitely has a lot to play in a lot of things. We do know there's a gut-mind connection too. So if your gut is off, it's going to affect your emotions and how you feel mentally, and vice versa. How you feel mentally will affect your gut too. So this is why I love this fast, because it is a great one that you can build your way up to. And when you start leaning into these, it's amazing. Now, if you're new to fasting and you're like, oh my God, 24-hour fast, like that sounds crazy. Hear me out. I do think you should go back to the episode on fasting for women. It was one of my earlier episodes on this podcast. Listen to that and you'll get a quite good overview of what fasting entails for women and how to do it to your cycle. But today I really just want to lean into 24-hour gut reset specifically. So when I say fasting, I get this same question asked all the time. They're like, does that mean you cannot eat the whole time of fasting? And the answer is it depends. You can actually have these fasted snacks, and these fasted snacks are they're little fat snacks. So you could have like half an almond. I got distracted by a bird outside. I meant half an avocado. You can have half an avocado. You can have almond butter. You could have bone broth. All of these things shouldn't affect your fast because they should keep you in the fat burning state. Remember, we have two energy states. There's the fat burning state and there is the sugar burning state. So sugar burning is when you're eating. Now, the only way you'll really know whether a food is going to pull you out of the fat burning state is if you test your glucose levels. And I show on my Instagram time and time again all about how I love testing glucose levels. So give me a follow and you will see a lot on there. I especially like to test these in my longer fasts. And I definitely, if I work with any clients and I'm promoting them to fast 24 hours or longer, they must have a glucose monitor and a ketone monitor because there is so much more to it. We'll go down that for another episode, but today I really want to talk about cleaning up that gut and what this gut reset fast is doing. So yes, you can eat certain snacks during it. You can also lean into green tea and you can have coffee. They shouldn't pull you out of that state either. As I said, you must check your levels to be sure. And I'm meaning no coffees that have any sweeteners or anything like that. Same with the teas, no sweeteners or anything that can pull you out. Once again, just check your levels. Now, why is 24 hours this magical number for resetting the gut? It's because of this. It's because tests have shown and proven that at 24 hours, our body starts to produce stem cells. These stem cells are targeted to the gut specifically. So they go to the gut's lining specifically because the gut hasn't had any food. So it's starting to clean itself and adjust itself in preparing itself for food to come again. It's like if you heard me talk about autophagy, when that starts at 17 hours and that's where the cells end up cleaning themselves. The same thing's happening with the gut at 24 hours. So when you hit 24-hour mark, your gut is cleaning itself up in preparation for the new food that's about to come in. Let's just hear that again because that is an insane thing in itself. Your body is producing its own stem cells at 24 hours without food. People are injecting themselves with stem cells into their joints, into their skin to help with anti-aging, to help with joint repair. And your body can do this on its own. That'll save you heaps of money. But also, this is an amazing tool. And it just proves the point that I make all the time, that our bodies are so clever, they're so smart, and we keep forgetting this. We need to trust in our bodies, trust that they know what it's doing. So when we lean into that 24-hour fast, we produce the stem cells that go to our gut's lining and helps to repair it. There's also this clean slate that kind of happens. I know you've possibly heard of good bacteria and bad bacteria. When you lean into a 24-hour fast, we help get rid of the bad bacteria. Now, there was a bit of controversy out there when this first kind of came about because it was saying, well, if you get rid of the bad bacteria, doesn't that just mean you're getting rid of the good as well? Technically, yes, you will get rid of some of the good as well. But here's what's key. It's all about how you break your fast. So that first meal that you are having once you have stopped fasting is so key in this. So we've just cleaned up your gut. We've just removed the bad bacteria. What we want to do is we want to plant some new good bacteria in your gut. And how do we do this? With probiotics. You've probably heard of probiotics before. Now, yes, there are supplements, probiotic supplements, but I am not talking about supplements. You just do not get the good quality, good bacteria, the healthy live bacteria as you would in a supplement. So we'll push that aside for now. And I'm talking about fermented foods. So things like kimchi, sauerkraut, yogurt. I've said this to my client the other day too. I do want you to be careful when you're choosing yogurt when you break your fast, because there are a lot of yogurts out there that are packed full of sugars and artificial flavors and ingredients and chemicals. Read the back of the label and look at the ingredients, and you want to see no more than like 4 ingredients in there. And you want the main ingredients to be those live cultured bacteria. So check that. When we break a big fast, like a 24-hour one, it can be a bit much if you're just straight off the bat having a whole bunch of food. It can overwhelm your body a bit. So I do like to try to adjust and lean into it by starting to have a healthy fat first. So same thing as when we're having fasted snacks. Try to have those before you're about to break the fast. So having like that avocado, having that bone broth. I really love to have bone broth to break it. And then going into the probiotics. So then having the kimchi, the sauerkraut, or the yogurt. Then from there, you want to have some vegetables. So adding some fiber back into your gut. Add in some of the prebiotics there to on top of your vegetables, like hemp seeds or something like that, pumpkin seeds. Add them in so that you're getting the probiotics, the prebiotics, and you're getting the polyphenols from the vegetables. Those 3 Ps are a perfect recipe at restoring your gut. Now, as I said, we've just done 24-hour gut reset fast. So we've literally cleaned it all up. We've cleaned the whole area up. It is so vital as to what you put into your garden, your gut's garden, to then make sure that 24-hour gut reset fast wasn't a waste. So the 3 Ps are probiotics, prebiotics, and polyphenols. Probiotics are the seeds to your garden. We're going to plant those in there. We're going to get some good bacteria in there. Prebiotics are the food to the probiotics. So it's like the water and the soil, the food that the probiotics are going to eat up to make them grow and thrive. So your gut is going to feel so good after this. And then the polyphenols are what's going to help that lining of the gut. So if you have heard of leaky gut syndrome, if you've heard of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, also known as SIBO, or you've heard of something like Candida, this will all help those things, which is insane in itself. When I was diagnosed with endometriosis, I read a recent study that was saying how when you have endometriosis, it's a sign that there's not as much diversity in your gut as you need. And I really started to look into it because a little story here. After I looked into endometriosis, I went to my doctor, and my doctor gave me 2 options. It was, you can go see a surgeon and you can do the surgery to have it removed, or you can put up with it, or you can also take the pill, this certain pill, and it means that you will stop having your period, and you just keep skipping your period. And everything that I've learned, I just didn't want to go back to the pill. I so didn't want to go back to the pill. I've done so much work on this. I am not going back to the pill yet, or ever. So I did my own research and I found the studies that showed about the diversity in the gut and how gut has a lot to play with endo. So I was like, I then found the other diets out there that can help do what this 24-hour gut reset does. Something like the autoimmune paleo diet. I probably said it on my podcast once or before, but I leaned into this and I started doing this. And I realized how hard and how restrictive it was. And I knew about fasting at this time, but I completely forgot the reasoning behind why we lean into the fast. And I was doing this diet, this really restrictive diet where I was only eating certain foods over, and I was trying to get to like 6 weeks, and then I'd start reintroducing the foods very slowly. Look it up. It's intense. It's an intense diet. And I just kept thinking in my mind, surely I can do this. It's just once in a year that I need to do this. And it's just 6 months out of that year. It's not long. Like, I can do this. I started off and I got to like 2 weeks and I was like, this is so depressing. This is awful. And I hate doing this. This is so long. And, I guess with any restrictive diet, it just was like, and then you go into that shame and the guilt of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not motivated enough, and all of that. But then I realized, hang on a second, I'm literally a certified fasting coach. Think back to your studies, Gemma. What does a 24-hour gut reset fast do? It resets the gut. It is literally doing what you were doing over 6 weeks within 24 hours. So I did just that and I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Why didn't I think of that? I lent into a 24-hour gut reset fast and then I slowly broke it with these protocols that I'm telling you now. And I only did this once and I had my period after that. And I was so nervous. I was trying to calm my mind because I know how painful my periods can be. And I was trying to calm my mind because I know a lot of it can be like a mindset thing too, as we know, that can affect the gut. And I was trying to relax myself. And I went in and I was like, here we go. Here it's building. The pain's building. And I was telling my husband, like, he's used to me, being in absolute agony of this. And all of a sudden it just passed. And it escalated a little. I felt a little bit of cramping, a little bit of pain. And I think that's what I was worried because I was like, here we go. But it just didn't build up. And even my husband was shocked and he was like, I don't want to jinx it, but is that it? Because that's fine compared to all the other ones you're used to having. And I was like, I think that's it. And then I got through it and that was it. And I have to say, it's got to be to do with my gut. It's got to be because I leaned into those 24-hour gut reset fasts. And I only leaned into one, remember, before that. Now I've had 3, and each time I get my period, it's just not as painful. It keeps getting less and less. And I just have to believe, like, it's got to be to do with my gut. I mean, the research papers are there. It's proving it. It's so. So it makes sense. Also, a good thing to note as to why this 24-hour gut reset fast is so amazing at healing our gut is that it also increases the positioning of the microbes. So the microbes like kind of spread out throughout the gut, meaning that when you're eating food, you are better able to break it down and take in those nutrients from the food. And this is especially good for those who are trying to excrete and detox estrogen out of the body. This will really help that detoxing system so much better when you lean into these fasts because, as I said, the microbes, they just diverse throughout the whole gut. So that this is so key into helping really break down your food properly. And if someone is suffering from something like SIBO, so small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, it can be a good sign in this is when you're eating vegetables and you feel bloated after it. That means you're not properly having enough of those microbes throughout the gut to properly break down the food and take in those nutrients. So when you lean into this 24-hour gut reset fast, all of a sudden those symptoms go away. When you eat a lot of vegetables, you don't bloat heaps. And it's because you've got that that range of microbes that is now able to break down those vegetables and take in the nutrients. So that is something also to keep in mind, how amazing this reset fast is and why you want to lean into it to heal the gut. So anyway, I ended up doing this as my protocol. So if you are someone who is suffering from a lot of gut issues, I'm not saying when you do a 24-hour gut reset all the time. You don't want to do it all the time. If you've heard about me talk about fasting, you'll know there's a thing called metabolic switching, where we definitely have to be in and out of that fasted state and then back to the eating window. Like, we definitely can't always do fasting, especially if you're a woman with a menstrual cycle. But so what I recommend is just doing a 24-hour gut reset once a month. Just fitting it in once a month. Leaning into this 24-hour gut reset can do so many wonders. Remember that stem cells, when they're put into our body, they're healing our body. So people have stem cells to help heal joint pain. I know Dr. Mindy Pels, who is my coach and how I became a certified Fast Like a Girl coach, she told her story of how she had an Achilles heel tendinitis, and she was always in a lot of pain and has always had her tendon quite sore. She leaned into I think it ended up being a 5-day water fast. And this is where, when you hit anything from 3-day fasts onwards, this is where your body produces a lot of stem cells. She leaned into this from like 3 days up until 5 days, and she could feel her ankles start to tingle. She could feel, and she just thought, that's got to be the stem cells. And it was. They went to her ankle, they were healing her joint. And now she never has felt pain ever since. And she did that once, and it's not like she always does these 5-day water fasts. She did it then and hasn't felt pain in her ankle since. So how crazy is that? So to get those kind of stem cells throughout the body, to heal the body, you do have to do quite longer fasts. But to heal the gut, we know that 24 hours is this magical number where stem cells start to come to the gut and heal and repair itself. Just want to take a moment to just say, how crazy is that? How insane is that? And it's always the way, and I think it's always the way with everything in life. The harder you work and the harder you push and push and push, the less that you end up attracting into your life. And the more that you take care of yourself, learn to relax and learn to lean into trust. Trust is so powerful. Then things start attracting to you. And this is the same with the body. If we learn to trust in our bodies again, to trust that they know what they're doing, stop trying to pack it full of supplements because someone said you need to be on these supplements. If you're okay and, there's no reason, say if, vitamin D supplements, magnesium supplements, say if you know for sure that your levels are perfect, there's no need for you to be on those supplements. Don't lean into supplements just because it's the new trendy thing or because someone told you that it will prevent this, this, and this. Lean into trusting your body again. And I'm not a no for supplements. Don't get me wrong. I love supplements. They're definitely needed, especially for fasting. I love bringing minerals back into the body. But remember that we want to lean into trusting our bodies again. We want to lean into believing in them. Our bodies are so clever, and every episode you hear, you'll understand how clever our bodies are. And let's just remember this again. Let's just take a moment to be in awe of this, to thank our bodies, to thank that, wow, you know what you're doing. Thank you for that. And if you're having any gut issues, lean into these fasts. Lean into these 24-hour fasts. They're amazing. If you have any questions, if you listen to this episode and you have any questions whatsoever around a gut reset fast or any other fast, please reach out to me. I'm always open in my DMs for a chat, especially on Instagram. I check that regularly. I get back to that quite quickly. Otherwise, I will leave you my website details. You're more than welcome to reach out to me there. I'll also put on the show notes below, I have a free PDF that you can all download. And in this PDF, it shows you the 6 different types of fast, the 6 different lengths. So if you listened to that episode on fasting for women, you would have heard about this. But it's good to have a good visual and to understand why you're leaning into each fast. Because you also have to have a why. You have to have a goal. Like, don't just do a 24-hour fast because I told you it's amazing for your body. Do it because you want to reset your gut, because you know that you've got gut issues and this is something that will benefit you a ton. Do it because of that, not because I just told you to. It's also got on there how to eat for the different types of fasting styles, how to break your fast, and it also has how to sync it all up to a typical menstrual cycle. Now, if you are listening to this and you are perimenopause, menopause, or postmenopausal woman, just remember you can do these fasts without having to worry about your menstrual cycle. You can lean into them however you would like. There is a standard 28-day reset cycling fast that I can send through to you. If you're interested, please reach out. I'll send it to you for free. And you can definitely lean into this, even though it's through a month. But the best part of this is for a perimenopause, menopausal, or postmenopausal woman, is that you can adjust it to your life however you would like. You don't have to worry about ovulation, and you don't have to worry about your bleed or anything like that. So you get to pick and choose. But what I will say is that you definitely have to listen to your body, listen to your emotions, and lean in and out of these fasted states. You can't be doing the same fast every single day, because then you're just teaching your body this new metabolic set point and it just becomes standard, and then all of a sudden you will plateau in your results and you won't see results anymore because your body just readjusts itself and it gets used to this idea of what you're doing every day. So you definitely need to, say you're doing through a couple of intermittent fasts and you're doing up to like 15 hours. Say you do that for 3 days, then the next day you could not fast, just do, sleep, wake up, only do like an 11-hour fast. Then the next day you could lean into a big 24-hour gut reset fast. Then the next day after that, don't fast. You know what I mean? Keep leaning in and out. And you can change this on a weekly basis. You can change this on a monthly basis. As I said, if you want the 28-day monthly reset guide, just reach out to me. It's literally just a calendar that can help get you started, and I'll send it to you for free. But yes, I just wanted to reiterate that perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopausal women, you can still do this. And I don't want to forget this group of women, because we are all going to go through this at some point in our lives. And that's when we really unlock our true superpowers. And I can't wait to talk more about that. I'll definitely talk in an episode on that. But yeah, today's episode was all just about the gut and resetting the gut. So I hope this helped. I know there was a lot of good bits of information in there. Re-listen to it again if you need, write some notes down, and start leaning into those 24-hour gut reset fasts and see how it changes you and your gut and your life, your skin, your hair, your nails, everything. It's so amazing. The benefits are incredible. Even your energy, like you're going to feel it all. And let me know how you go too. I love to hear how people are going with this and their journeys on this. Anyway, with that, I will talk to you all in the next episode. Goodbye and have